Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I do apologise for not putting a video out in a number of weeks, but well, it's life and there's a number of reasons for that. But here we are, here's an update, so let's crack on with it. So you're joining me 4 days out from the Outlaw. It's a taper week and I'm on Zwift doing just a taper ride really. We'll just practice some aero drills, varying power levels, and I was planning on updating the channel with my race calendar, but this is going to be my first race since last year, since cutting my season short last year in July, and I'm jumping straight back in at the 70.3 distance. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great to be back on the start line. I've just got to consider, where I've come from this year and what I've got to, what I've had to get through, my injuries and that kind of thing. And it would just be great to be back on the start line. There's no pressure on what I do, performance and that kind of thing. I'm not bothered about that. It's about getting there, enjoying the day, and setting myself a few race processes that coach has kind of made me think about, which is good. And I'll go through those a bit later on. But now, I've got to get this workout done. Right, that's the workout finished, and I've cut that short. I didn't get through all the interviews. I just felt smashed. My legs felt terrible, and it is the second session of the day. When I swam earlier today, my legs felt exactly the same. They felt like that since Sunday, so it's just as well it is a taper week, and I'm trying to recover a little bit because training has been quite consistent and quite good the last couple of weeks. And what I'll do, let me fill you in on what I've been getting up to. Now, what I'm going to do is flick up my training peaks for you, just to put into context some of what I'm going to say. But when we returned from holiday from Singapore on that 2-week break, I wanted to kind of really throw myself into training and build a little bit of fitness. And now I had to be realistic here because I think we had 5 weeks between when I got home and to the Outlaw. So realistically, we had probably 3 and a bit weeks to build a little bit of fitness. And what can you build in that time? Not a lot. So we had to prioritize a few things, and some of those was a little bit more biking because that had been neglected, and I wanted to return to running as well. My groin was at a point where I could do that. So a lot of the sessions that we started to introduce were specific bike stuff and getting the legs back running. Now, what's good about the running is I'm pretty much running an hour and a half, no problems, no issues with the groins. I can't really run 2 or 3 consecutive days in a row. It does niggle me a little bit, so I do have to be a little bit careful of that. We haven't done any necessary sort of speed work as such. It's been more about the volume and building up the distance again. And as I said, a lot more biking, a lot more sessions on Zwift, a lot of riding at the weekends, 3-hour rides, that sort of thing, and then some specific work, 70.3 bike prep work as well thrown in. The other key thing is getting back into the open water, and I've been to the lake twice in the last 2 weeks. The first Saturday was 13 degrees and bloody freezing, and managed probably about 12 or 1300 meters. But last week it was balmy, it was 19 degrees, and managed to do a full 2000 meters or so. So that was pleasing and a really good prep for the Outlaw, and I'm sure the water will be fine there when we swim in that boating lake. Now, last week was probably my 4th solid week of training, and I started to certainly feel some fatigue. It was definitely building in the body. I dropped off my 2 strength and rehab sessions just because I felt tired. And then the last thing I did on Sunday was listening to my body and cutting my run short by half an hour, just because my legs just felt absolutely trash. And it probably hadn't helped that I'd spent most of the last couple of days in the garden sorting bits and pieces out there. And that kind of leads us up to this week. And here you can see I've got a couple of days off, and they're all sort of easier sessions leading into race day, which is on Sunday. So we get to Wednesday, and all that's on the agenda today is a taper run. And I'm hoping that my legs are going to feel a bit better than what they have been this week. And if I do feel good, I'm probably going to add in about 15 minutes or so at race pace. And I was quite surprised on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Or yeah, no, it was in the week when I was doing the brick runs, how well I was running, considering, you know, I had probably 4 weeks where I couldn't run. So I do think I've got some fitness left over from my marathon training. So I'm going to go out and get this one done, see how they're feeling. I'm going to probably run for, I don't know, 20-25 minutes or so, and then see how the legs are going and decide whether I add in the 15 minutes at race pace or just keep it easy. That's the plan anyway. Let's go do it. Right, that's the taper run done, although not quite to plan. There was no way I could add in 10 or 15 minutes at race pace. My legs are just not coming around. And they've been like that since Sunday. So I'm hoping that when I get to the race on Sunday, I don't feel like I've been feeling. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm under fueling or what. I don't think it is. But yeah, they're just not happy at the moment. So I cut that run short as well by 15 minutes. But anyway, let's get on with the rest of the day, and I'm going to be back to talk through my race goals next up. Right, so going back on what I said earlier in the video, that this race was never going to be about performance for me, and my coach wanted me to really consider what process goals I really wanted to get from it, which I thought was a really good idea because it would, you know, let me concentrate on those. And these are what I'm going to share with you now. Now, my first race process or thing that I want to achieve from this is enjoyment. It's as simple as that. It was never about performance because I don't have the condition or the fitness that I would normally have at this point in the year. And I just haven't had the chance to do the work in the winter. You know, I have to remember what I've been through, you know, going through the operation on my shoulder, all the rehab around it, getting it to the point where I've actually been back in the pool swimming properly for 6 weeks now. And that's an achievement in itself. And, you know, just getting to the start line, being able to compete, being healthy, okay, maybe not compete, but being able to complete it and take part again, for me, is that's an achievement in itself. And I just want to go out there on Sunday and enjoy that, and enjoy the fact that I can do the thing that I love to do. Now, my other race processes or goals that I want to achieve are what I've tried to do is break them down into swim, bike and run. And I've got them here on my training peaks in front of me. So with my swim, you know, being back in the pool only 6 or 7 weeks, I haven't had the time to put in to try and get the fitness to where it usually would be. But there is no pressure on my swim. You know, all I want to do is swim as hard as I can with the fitness that I've got. And if I get out in sub 40 minutes, for me, I think that's really acceptable in the shape that I am. And that's basically it for my swim. Then we come to the bike section. And what I put down here is, I think I'm going to ride this on feel. I remember 2 years ago when I did the Ironman Staffordshire and I forgot my Garmin and I couldn't have any power, and I rode the thing to feel, and I really enjoyed the way that I rode that, and it gave me confidence that I could judge my own effort. So for this race, I'm not going to really look at my power or anything like that. Again, I'm just going to go out there and judge the effort by feel. I'm not going to break any records. I'm not going to break any PBs, but I know that to start with. So that's the most important thing. And I'm just going to try and concentrate on nailing the fueling strategy that I've put into place for previous races and get that working again, because One of my races coming up at the end of June is Ironman Luxembourg, and for me that's when I am going to try and build my fitness too and get a bit fitter and hopefully have a much better performance in. So yeah, nailing the nutrition, riding on feel, that's all I want from the bike. Now my fourth process is around my run, and bearing in mind that, you know, when I was struck down with a groin injury from the Barcelona Marathon, I wasn't able to run for nearly 5 weeks. And I've only been back running 3-4 weeks properly. And it's still not perfect. So what do I want from this and that? Well, I have to remember that last year when I competed in triathlon, after my block of marathon training for Seville, it done me wonders. My run, I think, stood out for me last year. And I'm going to try and keep that in the back of my mind. I did a massive block for that marathon. There's no way I've lost all the fitness from it. And I'm seeing glimpses of it when I've been training the last couple of weeks. So I want to run as good as I can. You know, I have a race pace in mind. Whether I can sustain that for the amount of time, I don't know. But I'm going to have a go at it. And if I can't, I can't. It's not a big deal. But it's going to give me a certain marker for where my fitness and my run is. So that's the aim for me on the run. Now my fifth and last one is quite simple, and that is making sure I smile when I cross that finishing line and relating it back to the enjoyment, how far I've come to get here, and being part of the triathlon community, being able to race healthily again. And that's it. Now I am going to probably leave that video there. Let's not drop the laptop. Because I've pretty much said everything I need to say for this. The last things that I've got to do is get my stuff ready. The bike's in a bit of not a mess, but it's on the trainer. It does need a look at, a service. It does need a new bottom bracket as well, which I have bought. Whether I get the chance to change it in time, hopefully I will. But yeah, apart from that, getting the bike out and sorting all my bits out, and then heading up to Nottingham on Saturday. It'd be good to catch up with Neil, who's featured in the videos before, who's also a member of the same training team and coached by Phil. And yeah, I probably won't see you now until after the race. I'm hopefully going to vlog it. I have been in two minds about this, but I think it would be a shame if I didn't, so I'm hoping that I'll get some race footage out. The family are coming up, so they'll be able to capture some for me. And lastly, you know, if you are competing in the Outlaw and you do see this, do come and say hello. It's always good to see fellow athletes. And yeah, I wish you all a good race and hope that you achieve many of the goals or processes that you've set out. And I'll see you all very soon.